And now the publication party celebrating the release of Lanny Davis's book, Crisis Tales.
How are you?
Author.
Do you know the famous Annie Grower? You made it in time, too.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to see you.
I had to do a double take. How are you?
Well,
Have you've met my wife Carolyn from years ago, from Clinton days?
years ago.
You're the real reliable source.
I am.
This
I was
is-
just at the bar up in the National Press Club.
I
I
knew.
call myself a recovering gossip because you're never really out of the biz once you're in it.
Well,
Feel free to dish.
oh, okay, I will. Lanny knows I'm good at that.
We were law partners so long ago that it's hard to even tell you how old we are.
But, I was thinking about when it was we met. It was at a student newspaper conference. When
That
you
far
were,
ago, U.S. Student Press Association. You are right. And who called the conference? Jeff Greenfield.
Exactly.
So you remember Jeff Greenfield?
I do.
Yeah, how long ago that was? 19.
I would, there's no need. When dinosaurs roamed the earth.
So what? I forget what college you were editor
I was
or.
at Maryland.
So this was the first effort to organize student editors as a force against the Vietnam War, and none other than Jeff Greenfield
The Vietnam
organizes.
War also just that whole loco parentis craziness.
Yeah.
At the University of Maryland, once you set foot in College Park, you gave up all constitutional protection. Students, faculty, just,
To this day,
yeah.
they crackheads.
Well, we did our best to stop that.
So Lanny and I were partners together at Patton Boggs Law Firm for what, 10 years, I guess.
Are you still there?
No,
I was surprised about layoffs. You probably
did you
weren't.
read about
It's a
that?
slow market.
65 lawyers or 65 people, 35 lawyers.
You know, the way they played it is that it's a temporary.
Yeah, we're right sizing, sure.
Right.
They needed a crisis manager. This is the most amazing man.
How are you?
I am so honored. You have to meet my wife. I've been
You have
telling.
multiple pens. You may go through a few here tonight.
Hi.
How are you?
Have you met Congressman Ice?
I just did. I just did.
Nice to meet you.
To meet you.
If someone could look for a really good-looking blonde, have you seen Carolyn?
I haven't seen her
I
yet.
wanted Congressman Ice
I
to
saw
meet.
Maddie and
Can you find Carolyn to meet the congressman?
You want to do one for Bloomberg?
Hi, I'm Stephanie with Bloomberg.
Please. No.
No, of the two of you.
Oh, I
Good to
thought
see
you
Lanny.
wanted-
No, the two of you. That would be great.
Absolutely. Here, can you turn this way?
There's sort
Where's
of
Elijah?
editorial-
Get Elijah. One sec.
Okay, let me grab one of these.
This
Well,
is
wait a second. Let's get it. Let's make the threesome here.
this is the bipartisan.
Come forward just a little. There we are. Okay.
So do you mind if I?
You know,
So-
I may be new technology, but I really long for the days of film when they couldn't shoot that many pictures.
So this is C-SPAN. Carolyn, this is my wife Carolyn. Congressman Issa,
Carol Ice, a real pleasure.
the famous Congressman Issa, the famous Elijah coming.
Can we get a picture, all of you?
Well, let's get the good-looking one in the
There
middle.
we
here.
go.
That's it. Come
Well,
forward
that's
a little bit.
debatable, I
Come
think.
toward me just a little. That's it.
Not by anybody in this room.
no.
Excellent.
So I want you both to know that my RSVP shot up a lot of numbers when they heard that you were both coming.
I think someone else wants you.
You know, bipartisan must sell, right?
You want the three of us?
How long have y'all been friends?
Since we were very young, but I was fortunate enough to just get to know Chairman Issa.
So
According to
a new
us,
friend and an old friend.
according to us, we're all very young.
Okay. So seriously, in college? No.
Back in Maryland politics. I ran for Congress many years ago when Elijah was very young. Then when he ran, I ran over and knocked on doors for him. I don't even think he knows that. And then I heard from Chairman Issa about maybe let's get Democrats and Republicans working together, and I'm honored that they're both here.
I'm still in the process of making friends.
Yes. And you need all the friends you can get right now.
And
This town is about getting things done, and right now we're not getting as much done as we should be. So, to a great extent, I think there's a lot of people on both sides trying to do that.
They need to read your book, right?
well, they're not because they're in crisis.
Can I get Michael Steele in this picture?
Yes, where is it?
Right here.
So talk about Purple Nation.
Oh, there we go.
Very nice to see you, my friend.
So now it's 2 to 2 here.
That's right.
All right, I'm trying. Okay, here we go.
So, Michael, do you see that I can have a conservative friend?
I know you were working the crowd pretty good too.
I told Maryland's represented here. I told I said there was some more Republicans here.
Did you get that signed yet? I can help you with that. Hey, don't take any more pictures till he signs it.
Oh my goodness. Do you have one yet? Because I'll send it to you.
You've been doing well? I didn't know you already signed it. Oh, I didn't know you had already signed it.
That was personal. If I've got Daryl Issa here, I'm okay. Love you, Ted. Did Lady make it?
No, I can't get her to come in all the way
So
from Great Falls.
I want the people watching C-SPAN to know that I love you.
This is going to be great.
Well,
This is going to be great. I haven't read all of it, but I read, the fair amount of what you sent me.
this is,
Okay, I gotta hide this.
hello, Monica, Miss George.
There we go. There we go.
Where's Carolyn? Has she seen Ted here?
Carolyn.
She's going to be. I want you to meet my 14-year-old.
I talk to Craig about you all the time.
This is my son, Josh Davis. This is Ted Olson.
How are you?
And this is Carolyn. Ted Olson argued the Supreme Court case on gay marriage that overturned the statute to legalize gay marriage.
A long time.
And he worked for President Bush.
Well,
And is a good friend.
not tonight.
This is one of the great congressmen of all time.
Well, listen, it's good seeing you, Lanny.
Steve Pfister, Chaka Fattah,
Good to see you. It's my wife, Julie.
Maisha.
Do we go this way? I'll be in touch, Lanny.
Thank you, Julie.
Good seeing
to
you.
meet you. Hey, thank you for coming, man.
told you I'd
you
be
see
here.
your best fan, Carolyn?
Let me get a quick shot here.
Okay.
So, you're fine. I'm on mic, by the way. So,
Yeah, don't say right. Yeah.
hey, Maisha.
I'm doing great.
Did you see Daryl Issa and Elijah Cummings here?
Yes.
That's what it's all about, man. Now, you know I always do a K.
CHAKA. There you go. This is a great turnout for your support.
What's your source? That's a great name.
Oh my God, Cal! Talk about Purple Nation. Come take a photograph with me. Come here, Maisha.
It'll ruin your career.
I want you to meet Carolyn too. Maisha, don't go away. Chaka, do you know Cal Thomas? Congressman.
I know Cal Thomas. Cal Thomas did the first show on my tax reform plan.
Oh my goodness.
Years ago, right?
What a memory you have.
There you
I
go.
hope I spoke well of it. Yes, you did.
This is a man who I bonded with, even though he's wrong about almost everything.
He's a true conservative.
Hey guys, let me get a shot.
Coming my way, Lanny.
Step in.
Coming my way. The Kingston Trio. The Three Stooges. Lanny, Mo, and Jack, the Pep Boys.
If you hang around, I'd like to, when I say a few words,
I'll be delighted.
give you.
Thanks.
Can I sign your book?
Oh, sure.
Come on, man. You're more important than he is. Hey, help me with the spell. M-A-I. Your tweets. One man tweeted today for me, and my phone started falling off the hook.
52,000.
Unbelievable. I've already signed your book for both of you, right?
Yeah.
There we go.
That's cool.
So you're on C-SPAN. This is a great man, Grover Norquist, and married to a beautiful woman.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. He's been a great friend. And the fact
You've
that,
been a wonderful friend, too.
well, the two of us saw basically that you can forgive politically incorrect people. But Daryl,
Congratulations.
Daryl, I think Elijah being here, like,
Yeah, he was here. We saw him.
almost as good as the two of us. Thank you.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll step out this way. Congrats.
We are particularly grateful that to have this kind of bipartisan turnout. There are plenty of Democrats and plenty of Republicans. It just goes to show you what you can accomplish with an open bar in Washington. I'd like to say a few more words, but before I do, I would like to turn the podium over to Lanny's partner in one of his other ventures, and by extension, someone who's joined us, and absolutely honored to be working with him, the former Lieutenant Governor of Maryland and the former Chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Steele. Michael.
Well, thank you all very much. How's it going? Good. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. You've been drinking. It is a real pleasure to be here and to welcome all of you on behalf of my partner and friend, Lanny Davis. Lanny and I, as many of you know, have started a little venture called Purple Nation Solutions, hence the purple tie and the purple shirt. But it's all about bringing the ends together, finding that sweet spot. And you know, as I look around and I see members of the congressional delegation, certainly from my home state of Maryland, with Elijah Cummings and my buddy Congressman where's Congressman Isaiah? Is he Isaiah? He's here. There he is. He's here somewhere. Hopefully, Daryl. You know, if I knew that it would take, you know, if we all knew it would take Lanny writing a book to bring the right and the left together, he should have done this years ago. And certainly we could have had a very different outcome, I think, in terms of the noise level. But we appreciate the opportunity to see folks come out on a night like this and to celebrate the idea that, yeah, we can all find that opportunity to work together. Lanny has captured that in this book, and it's certainly something that we have tried to capture at our firm and are very excited about. But I have a very special privilege to bring to the microphone two gentlemen who do represent not just the opportunities that we hope to happen, but the opportunities that really matter right now for this country in terms of solving some of our fiscal issues and how we govern ourselves. And I think it's very important to note that we do have both Congressman Cummings and Darrell Issa here who are going to have a few words to share with us. And I think it's important to recognize that even in this town, take the wine away, even in this town, there's an opportunity to come together around some common goals and ideas. And I'm really honored to introduce, and I'll start with the good Congressman. Say, that's what you get when you move, see? Darrell made the move first and then you came. Someone I've known and worked with a long time, certainly in politics in Maryland, but even in service to the people of Maryland. And he has been a phenomenal representative and leader. And you don't get to use the term friend a lot and mean it in politics, but I do mean it here. He's a good man, he's a good friend, the Honorable Elijah Cummings.
Thank you, Michael, and it's certainly my honor and my privilege to be here this evening with my wife, Maya. Where are you, Maya? Yeah, right there. You give her a hand. You know, as I listen to you, Michael, you're absolutely right. You know, I often say, and when I think about Lanny, I think about this saying all the time, we have one life to live. This is no dress rehearsal, and this is that life. This is it. And I think Lanny sees it that way, and I think he goes out there every day, keeping in mind that we have a limited amount of time to be on this earth, to be holding the positions that we hold, and to do the things we do. And he goes out there trying to be effective and efficient all the time. And so, you're right, Mike. We've got to find ways to come together and to work together to make a difference. Because, you know, what we do I always say it's our watch, and Lanny, I know I've heard you talk about this. This is our watch. We're on the earth now. We've got to prepare for generations yet unborn, and that's what it's all about. And I'm so glad that our chairman, Darrell Issa, is here. He and I have been working together on a number of issues, and I'm really excited about it, and trying to bring it together. And Lanny, by the way, has volunteered to help us do some very significant things, which you will hear about sometime in the future. But Lanny, I just wanted to come by and thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for being who you are, and thank you for being who you're not. No, I really mean that. That is, you're not selfish. You're not a person that just, you know, goes off in the corner and just, you know, stay in your world. But you're trying to make a big difference for the entire world. And so we thank you so much for doing what you do. And we also thank you for penning this book. I have not had a chance to read it yet, but I'm anxious to do it. But somebody once said that when you pen a book, it's like taking a snapshot of things that are going through your mind at a certain moment. And after you're long gone, the book is still there. And so we thank you for sharing your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences with us, because, you know, hopefully the things that you have written about will inspire people all around this room to be better at what we do and come together so that we can make the difference that you're trying to make. May God bless you.
Next, I'd like to introduce the chairman and thank him for his leadership in the House. Certainly, I take note of what Congressman Cummings just mentioned, that he and Chairman Issa have had an opportunity to work together to find that common ground. And these are the kind of leaders that we're all going to rely on going forward to help move the country's agenda forward. So, Congressman, thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce and welcome to the microphone the Honorable Darrell Issa.
Don't any of you try it. I understand it's a one-time offer. But Elijah is not the first member of the other side I've gotten to work with. Before Mr. Cummings came, I had Ed Towns, who I still consider a personal friend, and I look forward to seeing him anytime he comes to town. We formed a bond, and he denied me witnesses repeatedly. We formed a bond, and only he got the field hearings, I didn't. But we found ways to work together on issues we believed in. We signed on to a number of joint efforts. Before that, there was Mr. Waxman. We didn't form a bond. He once famously put so many divots in the, because he didn't have the little pestle that you're supposed to have, so he just banged the heck out of the dais, and it had to be repaired. And of course, I was saying regular order, Mr. Chairman, at the time, that he was infuriated. Those things happen. This is serious. We represent people who really want us to vet the differences of views, and that's an obligation we both have. But when that is done, and we both looked at the same facts, if we can possibly see some of the same solutions, and often if we could just agree on the same facts, we can work together on solutions. Elijah and I, last Congress, people saw all the things we did as adversaries, and there were plenty. But they also saw, I hope, that when it came to the effects of human growth hormones and the doping that was still going on in the NFL, and something that's not easy, we took them on, and we're still pushing to make sure that we rid not professional sports for professional sports' sake, but because young athletes follow that. And in the Lance Armstrong, revelation, more than ever, we need to make sure that role models are clean. So those are areas that we could easily work on, only because we agreed on it. We felt the same about it. We're finding other areas we agree on, and it's not always easy. We've agreed that in the next 2 years or 4 years, the most important thing that we can do together is to put most of our effort into things we agree on. There will be times, and Mr. Cummings and I both know it, there are going to be times in which we look at the same facts and we reach different conclusions, and we'll publish separate reports and let the public decide. But Lanny, we look forward to, if you will, the bigger project of getting this government to deliver whatever service level is agreed to more efficiently, at a better value for the taxpayers. And those kinds of things are at the very heart of what our committee does. And then if we succeed in that, you can help me with postal reform. So that's why we're here together, is that you can focus on what, and I know there's a lot of press here, you can focus on when we don't agree, or you can look and realize the vast majority of the time our committee should be and will be working to try to find the areas we can work on together and find whatever solutions we can. And Lanny, you've been on both sides of that, and you've been excellent at it. I both blessed you and cursed you on television, on virtually every network there is or was. So that's why we're here tonight, and that's why I want to thank both of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Congressman. I just want to say a quick word before introducing the man of the hour. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Jim Hooley. I'm the managing partner at the Washington office of law firm of Dilworth Paxson. And when I came aboard the firm about 1.5 years ago after having done other things for a while. And one of the first things I wanted to do when my orders were to light up our Washington office, because I reached out to Lanny Davis, and the timing appeared to be right. That was the start of having a lot of fun together, and that was even before I was able to convince the partners to bring him aboard. Because we went through a long process of the partners saying, Lanny Davis, really? Everyone knew who he was. Everyone had seen him on television. But they said, you, Lanny, how's that work? And I think the answer is in, first of all, the mutual respect we had built up over more than a decade of working together on various kinds of projects, some of which were in the news and some of which we pray to God never will be. And he's good enough that they probably won't be. But that level of trust, I think, is an embodiment of the kind of purple that the chairman and Congressman Cummings and Michael Steele were talking about, in that our objective is not to advance a partisan initiative, even though Lanny's famously a Democrat and I, somewhat more obscurely, am nevertheless a long-term Republican. Working with Lanny has, since he came aboard, they bought off on it, and it's great, and it's been great fun ever since, and we hope to have even more fun together with Lanny and with his associates at Purple Nation Strategies and Solutions. Solutions, and with Lanny J. Davis and Associates. It's always been entertaining. It's been exciting. Most important for me, even though I've been doing this sort of thing more or less for 30 years, it's been highly instructive. From Lanny, I have learned a very great deal. He is a master at what he does. The trick is always to figure out what it is that he's doing. But it usually comes right in the end. I would say that, the kind of instruction that I've taken at his hand has been to my enormous benefit and also to the clients. He has a unique gift for forgetting all of the external stuff and finding the nut of the problem, which is how you really get to the solution. What Lanny really does, he calls it crisis communications, he calls it strategic advice. I call it simply problem solving of the highest order. And problem solving admits of no party, admits of no ideology. You've got someone in trouble or about to be, and you try to remedy that. Many of Lanny's exploits are well known. I think his best are not. I think the best work he's done is the stuff you never see in the papers. If, on the other hand, you end up in one of his books, actually, my understanding is that everyone mentioned in this book is there definitely with their consent and approval. Crisis Tales is not so much a memoir, I think, as a primer. It points out that what we have tried to work on developing together is an approach to problem solving that is both legal and communications oriented. And what Lanny does in Crisis Tales is shows you that you think, a crisis manager, how can you possibly anticipate his services? It's always going to be when something's already happened that you figure out you need him or her. But that's not true. And what Lanny strives to show is, although he's called in as the fireman often, the best work that we can do, Lanny as a crisis communicator and crisis manager, us as a law firm providing the support in the background, is what Lanny calls a crisis audit. All the things that you wouldn't think he'd be as welcome as he is in corporate offices for a man who's living his mantra is a weird form of Murphy's Law. If something can go wrong, it certainly will. You're not ready for it. It's going to be public. Let me help.
Thank you.
And that's what he does. And he does it brilliantly. And I've learned a great deal from it. I think it is the highest form of problem solving to anticipate those problems. No one does it like him, as you'll see in the book. But rather than have me talk about it further, let me introduce you to my mentor in this business, the man who literally wrote the book, Lanny Davis.
Thank you. So there are lots of books for me to sign. I am not leaving till every one of you grace me and honor me by allowing me to sign this book. So I only want to introduce a few very special people. First, let's start with politics and end up with personal. Cal Thomas in the back of the room started out many years ago as a conservative and very religious man, forgiving my political sins, and then actually tried to redeem my spiritual sins. And thank you, Cal Thomas, for being here. Ted Olson, who is probably one of the greatest lawyers that I know. Sheldon Hochberg here is the greatest lawyer that I know. He also gives me the wrong golf clubs when I ask for a club. Thank you, Ted Olson, not only because we forged a friendship in the President Bush White House Advisory Committee that we served on, but because you've done your country a great service with David Boies by finally overturning, and we hope forever, discrimination based on sexual preference, and more power to you for your courage, and thank you for being my friend. Grover Norquist and I forged a friendship, and Sama, his absolutely beautiful and incredibly intelligent wife, we formed a friendship, and people don't understand how Grover and I can be friends even though he's wrong about virtually everything. But this is a kind and gentle man, and literally a gentleman as well as a gentleman. So thank you, Grover. I've got so many other elected officials here to thank. Chaka Fatah, an old friend of mine and a great member of Congress. But I do want to end before I get to the personal, and then I'm done, is to talk about Elijah Cummings and Darrell Issa. I got the call from the chairman and thought he was calling to scold me for something I might have said about him. But actually, I never did say anything nasty, because that's not what I do. I talk about issues, and I disagree on issues, but I respect the person who has a different opinion than I do. And when the chairman called me and asked if I would help work on a common problem that we could bring red and blue together into the color purple that Michael Steele and our other partner, Eleanor McManus, and I have forged in this new company, Purple Nation Solutions. Darrell said he would reach out to his ranking Democrat, Elijah Cummings, who has been a hero for me as long as he's been involved in Maryland politics. And when I went up to talk to them, we talked about many people that we would want to involve to prove to the country that we can actually solve problems even while holding our political philosophies. I'm a good liberal Democrat, except on the deficit, which I'm not very good on from a standpoint of being a deficit hawk. But Darrell and I and Elijah met, and we have great hopes of maybe changing, or at least symbolizing the possibility of changing the toxic atmosphere in Washington, and actually prove that you can disagree and still find common ground and common solutions. So Elijah and Darrell, thank you for honoring me. So finally, I would like to thank Maddie Melendez, Eleanor McManus, is Victoria that's here, Michael Steele, my partner. These are all the ultimate crisis managers. far better than the person who wrote this book, because they're managing me, and I'm the ultimate crisis. I have two sons here in the room who I'm extremely proud of, Josh Davis and Jeremy Davis. Would you wave, please? I've got an older daughter who I should say is my younger sister because she's so beautiful, and I'm so proud of her. And my son, who was wise enough to marry my daughter, Marlo and David. Where are you? I've got Ms. Marlo, a very easy teenage female to raise. You're looking at the most perfect. At one point, my older son, Seth Davis, who I'm proud to say I'm known as Seth Davis's father because he does a lot of television himself. At one point, I toasted Marlo and Seth when I was trying to figure out how to raise them as teenagers, and I toasted them, and I said, to two perfect teenagers, they never lied to me, they never did drugs, they never did alcohol, they never had parties behind my back, to two perfect kids. And Marlo held up her glass, and Seth toasted Marlo, and Marlo said, I want to toast you, Dad, to the father who never had a clue. Some crisis manager when it comes to Marlo and Seth. So Seth will be watching at 3 o'clock this morning on C-SPAN, and he'll tell you he was the perfect. Both of them were great children. And so now, after introducing Marlo and Josh and Jeremy, Seth at home and David, there's another daughter that I have that doesn't have the same last name as I, and her name is Susie Hudson. She is a member of our household, and I'll just simply call her my adopted daughter, Susie Hudson. And finally, you want to talk crisis management. You want to talk about managing a hurricane, which is what Maddie says I am once in a while. And you really want to talk about being married to a very boring male, always on an even keel. No highs, no lows. I met Carolyn Atwell Davis. A lot of you have seen her and have remarked to me that she's my younger daughter too, but she is my wife of 28 years. And with one day to go before this book got bonded at the margins, I looked at the last page of the book, the acknowledgments, and realized that I'd written 29 years. And did some quick math, and I said, I got that number wrong. So Carolyn Atwell Davis is an attorney, works at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Chaka Fattah, a member of Congress who has helped the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. When I go in to see him, his first words always are, how's Carolyn? And I always say, what am I, a potted plant? So I would like her to come forward as the great work she does at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, where she really does help children all around the world. Carolyn Davis. So I'm now going to sit, where do I sit, Maddie? Right here. I'll sit here for as long as it takes. I haven't said thank you. Arnold, there you are. Josh Galper, Adam Goldberg, my colleagues from crisis management days. Adam was with me at the White House. Where are you? Thank you all, and I just can't thank you enough. And thanks for being here. I'll be here to sign. Thank you.
Again, thank you all very much. Lanny will be here to sign books. The wine is still being poured. I urge you to get some before the sequester takes effect.
I know I'm going to write 3-4. It's Carolyn's birthday yesterday.
You know what? You're going to get tired really soon.
Finally, thanks for hanging in there for me.
Go to bed. But
you hung in there.
So we'd make one out to Mark Masters. Why
do you want me to? All right.
Well, Smooth's the boss. Catherine Armour, the provost of the Corcoran College of Art. Lanny Davis.
You all the time on this show. I love listening to your perspective.
What would I do without giving him a hard time and vice versa?
Congratulations. I can't wait to read all this.
When people listen to you and I get calls from
various places around the country. Everybody wants to know, are we brothers?
Outside the Beltway.
And
thank you for saying that. That's kind of you to say.
I get so many calls during your show, and AJ is supposed to do the New York party, I think. He said he was going to come to New York.
Yeah, yeah. Congrats on this. I can't wait to read the Dan Snyder part.
Yeah, I can't wait either. This is going to be great.
I
haven't heard back from him.
I told Catherine when we were back there listening to the introductions, I said, hell, if I had to get up and say anything about Lanny, I'd say, damn, man, you represented Dan Snyder? Ladies and gentlemen, Lanny Davis.
Listen, one of the things I'm proudest of in that chapter is I wrote it up to the January playoff game. I inserted the results of that score while this was about to be bound. So it says January 2013, the Redskins lost when RG3 hurt his leg. And everyone said, how the hell did you do that?
Right up to date.
You got it in there.
Fantastic. Lanny, thanks, buddy. Hey,
John,
thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for all your great introductions.
Congrats.
Look for Carolyn.